So we're going to start off and talk a little bit about intelligent document processing. And so probably a good place to start is, what is intelligent document processing, or sometimes what we like to refer to as IDP. Intelligent document processing, for some, might just be letting a machine read your documents. But at BP3, it's really a whole lot more. So intelligent document processing is taking a document, extracting out the relevant data, and then taking action on that data. So imagine a world where all of this, what we call dark data, could actually be used. Let's see. So who benefits from intelligent document processing? That's another good question a lot of people ask. So in healthcare, healthcare providers use IDP to extract data from patient medical records, insurance claims, registration forms. In the financial services industry, we've seen companies use it for loan and credit applications, credit reports, deeds, bills of sale, all sorts of loan origination documents. And then, pretty much every business out there we've seen is using it to pull data from invoices, legal contracts, applications, and even things like resumes. So I could go on, but suffice it to say that every document that's sitting in a file cabinet or is sent through your email or shows up in your mailroom is really typically part of a process. And that process usually ends up being a manual one. So automating the extraction of this relevant data from documents is really the first step in taking those manual paper pushing kinds of processes and turning them into, well, let's just say clean and efficient automation. All right. So let's talk a little bit what it looks like when you engage BP3 for doing intelligent document processing. Well, the first thing we need to really do when we start talking with a customer is we need to understand what kind of documents they have and really the processes that those documents are driving within their business. So we'll ask questions like, where do these documents and the processes intersect? How sensitive is the data in these documents? Who can validate the data? Maybe how the documents are structured. Do they include handwriting? And then, which documents really drive processes that are most valuable to the organization? So once we understand those documents, then we can create what's called an IDP pipeline. And for this, we've created a solution we call Sherpa, and we'll talk a little bit about that more in a few minutes. But during this process, as we're setting up this pipeline, we're going to ask questions like, which documents do we start with? Where do the documents reside? How accurate does the extracted results need to be? And once we've installed the Sherpa pipeline, then we create what are called document configurations for each of the document types. And then using machine learning, we'll train the pipeline to actually recognize those different types of documents. Now, depending upon the required level of accuracy, sometimes you need to have a human to step in when the AI gets confused when they're extracting the data. So this could be because of poor scan quality, stray markings on the page, or even document types that have entered the pipeline that the solution has never seen before. So the point is that this is actually a normal occurrence for any kind of IDP solution. And it's not something, not only do we want to make sure that we're accounting for it, but actually that we embrace it so that we do it right. So to minimize any slowdowns related to these human reviews, what we use are called humans in the loop. And these are really user interfaces that are specifically designed to allow humans to be super efficient at reviewing and correcting any potential data extraction errors. We then train the human review team, either yours or ours, to leverage these UIs to correcting any extraction inaccuracies that may come up. And with machine learning behind the scenes, we're also able to use that data that's created by the humans to improve the overall quality of the data extraction models. So these that way, what ends up happening is over time, these machines get smarter as they get more and more corrected data. So once the training is complete, we can then turn over the operation of the pipeline to the document engineers in our BP3 document service center, who will monitor the Sherpa pipeline for extraction, for exceptions and these sorts of things, update the document configurations, and even create new configurations as needed. All right. So as the Sherpa pipeline is processing documents and producing data, we generate real-time analytics and reporting that helps us understand the overall health of the document extraction pipeline. So this is often overlooked, but it's important to report on statistics like what percentage of documents were processed straight through, what are the initial extraction and review accuracy rates, and how these metrics are really trending over time. So by utilizing these metrics and trends, our support engineers are able to identify inefficiencies in the pipeline before they actually become real problems. All right. So from an overall business process outsourcing or BPO solution standpoint, we've created Sherpa to orchestrate the end-to-end IDP process and to integrate with our customers' enterprise systems so that both on the front end for the document ingestion and then also on the back end for data delivery to initiate the downstream automations. So at the center of the Sherpa IDP process is an IQBot AI engine that performs the actual data extraction and also serves up the human in the loop UI for the data correction team so that they can review and correct any sort of problems during the extraction. So also as part of the Sherpa solution, we've created the BP3 Document Service Center. And what we found when talking to customers is that the majority of them are not really interested in setting up or managing an IDP pipeline. And so again and again, what they've told us is that they don't want to set up and maintain another piece of software. What they want to do and they really care about is taking care of their customers and running their business in the most cost-effective manner possible. So with the BP3 Document Service Center, we have a dedicated staff who configures, trains, and manages the entire end-to-end process so that these customers simply just give us their documents and we give them back clean data. And by leveraging the AI engines like IQBot, we're providing this end-to-end document automation service with no setup fees and a higher quality result with the lower price per document than other business processing outsource offerings. All right. So as you saw in the previous slide, at a high level, most of the IDP processes that we manage with Sherpa are similar. That said, the real goal of automating data extraction from documents is to facilitate more automation, and the more end-to-end processes that we're orchestrating with Sherpa, then that makes the overall process more efficient. So here's an example, though, of one of our customers' processes for whom we're processing around 10,000 invoices per day with Sherpa and IQBot. So the invoices come in either by email or snail mail, in which case they're scanned in the mailroom, and then they're stored in a shared drive. And then Sherpa gathers these invoices, noting the source and the email addresses for that feeds these and then we feed these documents into the IQBot AI engine. So once the data has been extracted by the AI engine, the extracted data goes through a cleaning process. And this could be anything from cross-referencing vendor names to performing a three-way match between the invoice, PO, and the goods receipt. This data cleansing step also can really vary from customer to customer, but most of these patterns are pretty similar. And so we've actually pre-built functionality within Sherpa to make it easier for us to configure this. And then finally, for this customer, once all of the data has been extracted and cleaned, we invoke an API and we send that invoice information to the customer's open invoice system. That basically pushes it back in and starts the next process. So that was really what we're doing for invoices, but the number of different types of documents that we're processing continues to grow. And currently we're processing not only invoices for vendors, but also international customs invoices, employee files, time and attendance forms and expenses. And we've also started doing quite a bit of work in the healthcare space, processing insurance claims and especially explanation of benefits. So now I'd like to turn this over to Aditi from Automation Anywhere, and she's going to go into some of the more details around the AI engine that we're using in Sherpa, which is called IQBot.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about IQBot. IQBot is Automation Anywhere's IDP, Intelligent Document Processing Solution. And IQBot can be used to automate 80% of what we call in an enterprise as dark data. This is data that's typically not in a structured format, be it a database or a CSV, hence requiring extraction from PDF, TIFF, and other images. Documents, as we know, are everywhere. I know Tom spoke a little bit about the invoices and documents in finance. We do see documents in life sciences, telecom, insurance, federal, state, and local. So automation can be done across the board. IQBot is a general purpose IDP platform. Typically in a solution for document processing, historically, OCRs have been utilized. OCRs are hard to set up and maintain. They are very template driven. They typically do not have much of machine learning or AI built in. And since they're so templatized, the process is lengthy to set up, but also to maintain. And anytime there's a change in the document, it creates an expensive support cost as well. So IQBot is essentially providing the difference by adding AI and ML models to OCR and utilizing a couple of other technologies to address different types of documents that we will take a look at. So in terms of our product suite for Automation Anywhere, we provide a couple of different products, including Discovery Bot, which is for process discovery. I think most of us are familiar with the RPA offering for attended and unattended automation, and Bot Insight for analytics. But today's focus will be on IQBot. IQBot is our AI platform. It deals with unstructured data. It has a very user-friendly interface to provide automation. And with the platform offering that we have with our A360 product suite, we are able to provide an end-to-end automation. And this fits very well into BP3 Sherpa model, whereby which you can also have a support model long-term once the solution has been stood up. So again, it's very business-friendly, AI-powered, and it's fully integrated, provided the platform offering. Let's look at some of the features that IQBot offers. The first is pre-processing. Anytime you have a scanned image, you can have issues with noise and with resolution on the document. You can also have a high degree of contrast, say for example, a driver's license, passport, etc., and or watermarks. The pre-processing engine helps to address some of these document quality issues, providing an uplift of about 5 to 10% in extraction accuracy. The next engine we have in IQBot is called the Intelligent Document Classifier. The classifier helps to take a mixed bag of documents. Say, for example, you have a PDF which includes a cover letter, an invoice, a purchase order, a bank statement. The classifier will be able to segregate, separate each of these document types. Data extraction. Data extraction is where we provide a variety of different options, including OCR, some proprietary AI models, and separate engines for handwriting and for standard forms. And we'll go into a bit of detail in the next few slides as to what each of these are. With the wide variety of data extraction capabilities that IQBot comes with, we are able to address semi-structured, unstructured, and structured documents, and we'll talk about that in a minute as well. And then we're able to provide a place where you can add regular expressions. Say, for example, you want to reformat dates into a standard format. You can easily insert a simple regular expression to do so once the data has been extracted. Any further validation can then be invoked using our RPA platform, which is the advantage of having a platform offering for an end-to-end automation along with the IDP over here. And we also have a split screen validator where a human in the loop validation can be initiated. On one side is the original document, and on the other side are the problematic fields highlighted in red where the system has low confidence. So human can easily update those values. It's a very focused review. The bot learns in the process. After a couple of edits, the bot will do an auto suggestion and then eventually an auto correction. So let's talk about the different types of documents that we see: semi-structured, structured, and unstructured. Semi-structured documents are the documents which are template driven. They typically have a large number of vendors providing the information. This is where your invoices, purchase orders, explanation of benefits lie. Structured documents are those which are also template driven, but in this case, the templates do not change 5 to 10 years at a time. I think we all went through a tax season recently, and so we are very familiar with some of the tax filings we did personally. Healthcare claims, insurance claims, etc. All these are structured documents. And then unstructured is where we talk about emails and chats, where we would use some of natural language processing, NLP capabilities, to be able to extract the data. So let's talk about semi-structured documents. The biggest concern with the semi-structured documents is that they typically have a large number of varying vendor templates and formats. It's very time and resource intensive. Also, when we automate, we typically talk about the 80-20. You want to automate where you have the maximum volume on the vendors so as to get a good return on investment timely. In IQBot, what we have done is we have introduced a new offering called auto extraction. We are definitely industry's only IDP, intelligent document processing solution, that has an offering called a combined engine. Think about it in terms of a car. We always had gas cars, and then suddenly electric cars and hybrid cars started being introduced where the electric engine provides the boost. You can think in a similar way about the auto extraction functionality that IQBot offers. Auto extraction today is available for invoices, and as the year goes by, we will be making it available for other document types. In this case, when you push the documents through IQBot, for many of these invoices, you would not have to do any training. Let's take an example. Say, for example, you have about 100 different vendors that you push through IQBot. And you have pushed a volume of about 1,000 invoices. You've specified that you want 20 fields extracted in IQBot. Typically in an invoice, on an average globally, about 20 fields are extracted. Many of these invoices will go through without any training, creating an output, which in IQBot by default is a CSV format. For some of these vendors where you have large volume and you want to further improve the accuracy of extraction, you would want to upload more documents so that you can train the bots and get a higher STP and accuracy. So what are some of the advantages of the auto extraction engine? The auto extraction engine offers reduced training time. In many cases, the invoices would require no training and provide you an output. In some cases where you would go the extra mile of training the invoices to get higher accuracy rate, that is where the focus would be on your biggest vendors. So the return of investment on the overall implementation would be higher. It also guarantees a higher field level accuracy. You can process varying formats, large number of vendors. You can scale very easily. It also enables you to address the long tail, which is what we define as the seasonal invoices. Some invoices may come seasonally, or some vendors may only send you invoices a couple of times a year. If you train bots for those invoices, an ROI may not be received. However, with the combined engines, auto extraction functionality, you can address those documents as well. Let's talk about structured documents. So structured documents are also known as standard forms. On the screen, you see some of these documents like W2, W4, Accord, which is a liability insurance form, and so forth. I think the tax forms we're all very familiar with because we've all gone through a tax season, as I had mentioned before. In these forms, the fields are very densely populated. There is a lot of checkboxes, radio buttons, especially for some, such as the residential loan applications that are very common in Americas. A single page can have up to 200 fields. And in most cases, all those fields need to be extracted for a loan application to be processed. So IQBot, with its standard form offering, is able to accurately extract these densely populated fields, checkboxes, and radio buttons, hence providing a higher quality of output. The last category is unstructured documents. In the unstructured documents, we will talk about emails and chats. Here we've partnered with Core.ai, and IQBot and Core.ai in conjunction provide extraction using NLP NER models to be able to read paragraphs and extract the relevant data and provide it in a structured format, which again by default is a CSV, but a very simple bot that's available can convert that into a JSON or XML if that is preferred. In IQBot, we also have a provision where Python libraries are built in. You can write simple Python commands. We talked also about regular expression as another feature available for review. So with all the features that IQBot makes available, the setup time for any kind of document, be it semi-structured, structured, or unstructured, is lower or lesser than other competitive solutions in the market. The maintenance is also lower as compared to many of the other competitive intelligent OCR solutions available in the market, as the AI engine in IQBot learns over a period of time and provides better results. For today's purpose, since Tom spoke a little bit about the invoicing capabilities, we decided to provide another use case. We will focus on a structured form, in this case tax. I think tax is fairly easy for each one of us to get our heads around, so I thought this could be ideal. We see tax in a variety of different industries and functional areas. Some of them are listed over here. A typical end-to-end process would look like as follows. Tax forms can be obtained from multiple sources. If these are available via email, a website, or a server, the bot can download the forms, centralize it in a repository, send the information to IQBot, which can classify and extract the data. And then finally, the bot can pick up the data, upload a system of record, and or run through a checklist, any kind of reporting, approval, confirmation. Let's take a look at the demo video. And again, this information is available to you after the webinar as well. We will use RPA and IQBot to bring about an end-to-end automation. A simple process flow is as follows again. We've created a swim lane diagram to make it easy. The tax documents can be received from multiple sources. The RPA bot will download the documents provided to IQBot. IQBot will run through the classification extraction. And for any kind of exception handling, it can invoke a user. Once the CSV is generated, the RPA bot can use it to validate and cross-check against different sources, if that be the intent, put it into a system of record, and then inform the user of completeness and accuracy. On the screen, you see a typical tax form. This is the A360 module where the bot has been created. It's a drag and drop interface. When we run the bot, you will see the status bar on the right, which kind of shows you the bot is running behind the scenes. It will go ahead and send the tax form to IQBot. IQBot will extract the data. Again, all this is happening behind the scenes. And typically, it's an unattended bot that is run. In this case, we will go ahead and take a look at a couple of tax forms. These are corporate tax forms, just as a sample over here. IQBot has gone ahead and extracted the data into a CSV. And we are trying to zoom into a couple of results and see the accuracy for the purpose of demo. Again, this is an optional step. One does not need to do this unless there is an issue and the human has been notified. So as we go through this, we see that the extraction has happened of the various checkboxes and fields. Some of the fields are in the form area. Some of them are in a tabular format. So this is simply showing different capabilities of data extraction that can be done from complex unstructured documents. And then once this is done and the checkboxes are extracted, the bot can then initiate an update into a system of record. So for the purpose of this demo, we just focused on the extraction, and we wanted to show you some of the results over here. And then again, the RPA bot can be used to complete the process. This provides you speed, efficiency, and also compliance in the tax process. So IQBot can be used to scale the IDP across different types of documents. On this slide, you see some of the documents called out, such as invoices, purchase orders, insurance claims. We talked about this a bit before. We also do a lot of work in the areas of HR, for HR forms, onboarding applications, ID cards for KYC, AML, and then some specific tax forms for different countries and so forth. We do offer a pre-built loan solution as well for mortgage out of the box. So if you look at the quadrant, this is the Everest quadrant. For the last 2 years, we have been a leader in this quadrant. And we actually this year, we moved a little bit more on the right on the leaders quadrant, occupying the most critical real estate, if I can say so. So we have definitely made a lot of progress in IQBot in the last year in terms of the functionalities and features we offer. The slide shows a list of some of the technology partners that we have partnered with to bring about an end-to-end automation. With many of them, we have gone to market. We have got pre-built integrations of solutions. So if there is any of interest, please do reach out. So the intent behind IQBot, again, is to provide value at speed. It is a very business user-friendly interface. So the setup time is very fast. With the pre-built AI ML offerings we have, such as the auto extraction and the combined engine, the setup is even faster. And for many documents, with minimal training, you are able to see the results. You can get started instantly. We have a wide variety of pre-trained use cases, which we call domains, available. So if there is any of interest, please do reach out and we will be happy to provide what we have to leverage. And then again, we see a huge degree of success with IQBot out of the box within a couple of weeks. And as the system learns over a period of time, the straight-through processing and accuracy would improve, just like with any AI system.